time.
Make time.
Absolutely. The least of my concerns, priority is what is in school. Oh, minute and a half. Actually, Thomas, I have all the time in the world.
The best. So, I have a script now that if you send it, stores a message, sender, timestamp. So we can also do the same if we do an API or something that listens and receives messages. We'll be able to do the same. It just wants prefab incoming or outgoing message. Should be good enough, right?
No, it's good enough for them. Works, that's 100%.
Right, perfect.
Better than good. Looks good. Has some interactivity.
Perfect.
Oh. All right, so we can kick off. I love my audience of one in the room, but it will double to two eventually, potentially. And I have some people in the background as well, which is nice. Now, today's lesson, I had a quick look at what is outstanding, and the lesson 10 is all about mobile development, which we actually covered quite extensively, so I'm not going to waste time with having 2 hours of mobile development. Then there is a lesson called 11 Other Upsource Technologies, which I can do in half an hour. And there is a lesson 12, cron jobs, which I can also do in half an hour. So what I'm going to do today is have a 4-in-1. So all the lessons that are remaining we'll do today, and then after the end of the day you will be the programmer. So in 2 hours, just 2 hours, boom, magic happens. Okay, so I don't have time to waste, and I will go straight into stuff, and hopefully you can see my screen and you can hear me. Last time, as you know, I tried to add push notifications to my application, okay? And that was Ionic application. Now it failed spectacularly because nothing worked after I would add the dependencies that are required according to the documentation. It wouldn't run my simulator, which is a very sad story. So the first thing is that one of the dependencies in somewhere it's in all the files that it loads, and some weird thing saying, hey, I want Apple Platform 8, okay, which wasn't working, okay, because now it's minimum to be 9, okay. So the solution was to add 3, 4, 5 lines of code to some pod file somewhere, okay. And then this one that got me stuck afterward on the session last time was when I installed these things, one of the what's called these plugins didn't get all the dependencies. So it worked in NPM, it worked in Yarn, but when you try to compile it, it was complaining, okay? So this first screenshot that you can see here is basically saying, for example, capacitor haptics and capacitor app were missing some crap, okay? So then I started, okay, fine. Yesterday, last night, I was like, yeah, I'll sort this out in no time. So solution is to update the pods, okay? But just let's step back, okay? My application works in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angular, whatever it is, it works. But that's not the application. The application needs to interact with the native components of the app, of the device. And to interact with native components, on iOS, it's using these pods, okay, and it builds the application so the HTML and shit talks to native phone itself, okay? So they can communicate, and that doesn't work. So when I build the application, it doesn't work, okay? In Android, it's the same thing happens. It's just you don't have pods, but you have this Gradle which builds Java libraries and stuff like that. And didn't even try that, okay? Because iOS is harder to make it to work. So if I make iOS, then it should be easier for Android. So I updated the pods one by one, and it's like, yeah, so it works. But it didn't, okay? It still said plugins are missing dependencies. That's the error that I was getting, okay? Now the problem is if I uninstall these things, Ionic Native, okay, that I was adding, application works. As soon as I put them back, it doesn't work. It keeps complaining, okay? So, and these messages like, you know, geolocation, entry point for missing dependencies for geolocation. It's like, well, geolocation has nothing to do with my push. Or does it? I don't know what dependency of dependency of dependency is, you know. So removed SCM works, okay? So then I tried to use Yarn, because sometimes on my computer, Mac, it doesn't work with NPM. So I just tried all of these again with Yarn, okay? Now this sync command should actually say, you just installed NPM new modules, okay? So let me sync what is needed for Android and what is needed for iOS in order for it to build. And this sync kind of worked, okay? So it doesn't report error, but when you say run, nope, okay? So again, dependencies missing, same like I had here in multiple ways, okay? So removed FCM works. All right, so I tried this one because I found online that this plugin, FCM, doesn't work. So you have somebody built additional plugin based on the original plugin, which fixed the issue with dependencies which were missing. All right? Now, halfway through this, I also discovered that my build fails because I also already have a build process running from previous day, because I don't shut down my computer, I just close it, you know, so from Tuesday probably it was running, so it couldn't even build. So I at some point decided to restart the computer because it was having two build processes I couldn't complete for, you know, I'm like, oh my God, so let me try again. Okay, so I was like, added this updated dependency, and then, hey, I got warning. So this is when I, when I do sync, okay, this command sync, Ionic App Sync, then it gives me these warnings that this plugin requires that I make changes to info plist file, okay? And then I made those changes, but then I scrolled up and then I found, oh, it was me to make more changes. So I make more changes, okay? So this plist file is additional things, you know, like Firebase app, delegate, proxy, enable, whatever that is. So it needs to have that in order for the native side, the iOS side, to work, okay? So blah, 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 these were the ones that I had to add, and then, boom, doesn't work. So then I had to go to the specific thing, you know, I discovered that I have to go to this app, because I put Google Services, this file, in the wrong place, okay? I didn't put it here. Okay, I put it in one above, okay, so it looked like it was there, it was just here, but it wasn't inside the subdirectory. So move that. Then it says, hey, you need to add pod, which is not automatically discovered to the list of pods like Firebase message. So I added that. Then you have this specific, not sync, but you can update, you know, so I found that one. And then I discovered that Ionic guys kind of work with these capacitor people. We are using the capacitor. So there are capacitor docs, okay? And the capacitor docs saying using push notification in Firebase on Ionic and Angular app. I was like, great. If only Ionic told me that I should listen to these guys instead of, you know, it's so easy, you know, in a few easy steps, okay? So basically, what it tells me to install is capacitor push notifications. Completely different package. So I couldn't get these two packages to work, okay? And then when I go install that and sync, actually it builds. I'm like, okay? While I was doing this, at the same time, I was like, I'm so pissed off with this Ionic and React Native. What are the alternatives? You know, what is Flutter? So I went online and read about Flutter, which was same but different. And then there is Xamarin or something like that by Microsoft. Flutter is by Google, which is same but even worse or better or not. But they all depend on these dependencies. So I was like, surely, you know, there is somebody who is addressing this issue of dependencies, okay? And found one guy article who's saying, hey, you know what? Kind of advisory thing, and this is lessons learned, okay? So if I go here to my mobile thing, okay? So the guy was saying about this little sign here, okay? This says, well, install 1.5 or higher or similar or whatever it says, okay? So on my computer, it might install 151. On Ahmed's computer, it might install 162, okay? And that will have different behavior. So he said, lock the dependencies. What does it mean? It means specify exactly, this is the version that I got it to work, and just lock it, don't change it ever, because if you do, these JavaScript people, they develop every 3 days, they have 7 new versions, and in 7 new versions, they break 20 things. So it's horrible. So once you find these which work, log them, and then don't move them. Even if that's not advised by, you know, these people, the idea is that you can easily upgrade these things. So in order for me to lock each one of these, I need to know what each one of these is doing, okay? So I have no idea what Jasmine Core is. And do I need version 3.03 or 4.1? And see, this one says latest version is 4.11. So which one works? Which one doesn't have a problem with missing dependencies, old codes, and stuff like that? So in order to fix that, okay, what I need to do is actually try most of the important plugins, and especially the plugins which I'm adding, which are causing me problems, new ones, to try them isolated and make sure that I work them in an example app. If they work with that version, then I bring that into my project, okay? So I try it separately, make it work separately, and then bring it into my project, and I hope it won't clash with something, okay? So we have to be extremely specific about which versions of everything we are using, you know, and try them out not inside my project, because it can have other issues, okay? So I just try them separately and then replicate that inside my project. Any questions?
It's often two packages together that cause problems, right? So if you isolate one, then you wouldn't know.
Yeah, well, I have to install, you know, because when you install one package, it installs 100 dependencies. So, yeah. But if I install the whole app, which has 20 of those, which then have 1,000 dependencies, then it's much harder. Okay, so I'm not going to do one by one of each 1,000, because that's what I would keep doing. It's also hilarious that when these people, you can Google this, and it says best cross-platform development tools, they list all these and they list pros and cons. So pros on all these tools are fast development. Okay, cons, it takes a long time to develop the app. I was like, this guy is genius, didn't even read his own bloody text, you know. So yes, while in theory it will make it fast, in practice it takes twice as long, you know, as anything else. So I was like, great. Now, when I was setting up Slinky push notifications, I know that I had to do many things and research exactly the same thing. It's just for React Native, okay, but exactly the same thing. And I know that I had to make multiple changes to Android files, not my common web Angular things and React Native, but the actual Android files and iOS files. I had to make lots of changes because push is connected to the native hardware, to your Android phone and this, and that has to somehow communicate with my web code. All right? So, those changes, blah, 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 go on and on and on and on. And one of the things that I've kind of followed in this case, but I managed to compile it, was this, okay? But let me show you, okay, Android, okay? Blah, 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 this is instructions, iOS, okay? So iOS, you must have paid Apple developer account, okay? Nice. I don't have one, but I have one from my client, so I managed to just set that up in my Xcode. So you can't even set this up, or I probably can, but I can't set this up in VS Code. I have to do an Xcode and select the theme is this, bundle identifier this is me, etc., you know, because what it does while it builds, it signs all these things and checks all the keys that it can, you know. So then I need to have production certificates and provisioning profiles. So I don't have that personally, but as I say, I set that up for the customer, okay? And then I had to create this certificate of key, okay, specific, okay? So I have certificates and provisioning profiles, which are going to sign my app for the testing, sign my app for the release, okay? And then I had additional key that I had to create. And then I had to enable the push notifications in my Xcode. So somewhere in my Xcode, I have to find, I don't have Xcode running, so maybe this picture. So somewhere here, I have lots of permissions when I had to find the ones that I need to check because this app requires those permissions. Going back, so don't need the history. So once I have that, I need physical device. I was doing this at home, so I didn't have the physical device, but okay. So when I created on Firebase console this thing, okay, I need to get this plist file, which I did, okay, but it says add Firebase SDK. So this is where I was showing you a screenshot. So when you file this pod file, then you have to add additional things in it, okay? Make changes so it knows that this is it. So this is the code that I added, okay? So then your pod file at the end will have this, okay? I already added in my first step additional information because of that number 8, so I guess I can now remove it, okay? So this is initialization code, what I need to do, not in my code, but in app delegate Swift and another one, to make sure that it knows that this app will receive push notifications. Now, how does Google talk to Apple? I created this APNS certificate. I need to add that to my Google console, okay? So as a auth key and so on. So in that case, Google will send the message to Apple, and Apple will say, who the hell are you? They have the authorization key, so they say, then we know that is Andrei's app because he set that up, Okay, so I love when they say it's fun and easy, all right? So I didn't enter any code, okay? But now code is relatively simple, okay? So, and I'm not going to show that today, but the code, now I go to my login page, okay? And then I register this FCM token, then I call AppSource API to save that token, and then from AppSource I say, hey guys, I want to send push notification, I call Google API, I pass the token of the user that I want to send the message to, I say what the message is and topic and so on. And then Google finds that and says, that's a guy. Is it Apple phone or is it Google phone? If it's Apple phone, it uses that certificate, goes to Apple. Apple says, fine, I will find is this application on my list, is this developer enabled and list enabled and so on. And then if it's all valid, it will send it to my application, which is on App Store or Test Drive. And then that application, this Swift file will pick it up, okay? User, when it runs for the first time somewhere, will also have some sort of settings which says, do you allow this application to send you push notifications, or ask for permissions, etc., etc. So nice and easy setup. Okay, I'm nowhere near finished, but at least my app now still builds with this thing, okay? So I managed to build the app, which is crazy, so it doesn't work with the ones that the documentation reports, but it works. It builds with this. I don't know, does it receive push notifications yet, but takes time. So I would do this, as I say, separately to the code or the separate branch or something like that, and then you bring it back to the app once it's fully up and running and so on. But lesson learned, once you find one which works, get rid of these things, stick to that code. It doesn't matter if you never update it till the end of life of application, because if you start upgrading, you are back to where you started. You have to rewrite everything, and what happens few times is that the plugin that we used and the code that we wrote on the updated version didn't work anymore. So what we have to do in that case is find an alternative, but then all the code that you wrote you have to rewrite, because the alternative is of course different. So, pleasure. So, hello Ahmed, hello Jesus, hello Luana. Any questions on this so far? Nope. Good. Now, if this works, maybe. What the hell is this? Close. Just minimize. This is my Linux machine in a room next door. And why am I using Linux machine? Just to show you one thing, and then I will switch to my Mac here. This is about cron jobs, okay? So we have requirements that we execute code in the background when user is not logged in. Quite often we execute the code on specific time, okay? So every morning at 8 o'clock we need to send everybody notification good morning, some stuff like that, okay? So in order to set up this, okay, you need to type in your terminal cron tab. This doesn't work, it's frozen. You're currently sharing machine with another user. Which another user? I don't know. Okay, so it froze. Okay, well, let me do it on this computer. Okay, so it doesn't matter where I am, cron tab E. Okay? And if you run it for the first time, it will ask you which editor you want to use to edit this file. Okay, and the first option is typically Nano, and that's the one that you can choose. So Nano is nice editor. Okay. Now on Mac, default version is not Nano; it's some V terminal, which has a very weird commands. Okay. What I need to add to this file is this one line of code. Okay. Which has 5 asterisks signs with a space between them, okay? And this 5 asterisks means every minute, okay? So each one of these is like day, hour, minute, hour, whatever, second, and so on. If you put 5 stars, it's every minute. So whatever I have after this will be executed every minute, okay? So I have 2 commands. On my Mac, I say cd, change directory, and I change to my admin folder wherever it's installed. I put the full path of that. On Unix or Linux, if you have that, this will be cd/var/www/html/myadmin. Okay, so it will change directory in the background, okay? So, and then means there is another command that I want you to execute at the same line, and the command is PHP, okay? So PHP, we execute command line PHP, so execute PHP script, and the PHP script that we are executing is called Artisan, okay? So this is Laravel's script, okay, that they use to do various commands, okay? The one that we want to execute is schedule run, okay? So every minute I want to run whatever is scheduled to be run inside this, okay? And then this says, you know, something along the lines, you know, don't show any output because nobody is actually looking, so I don't care about output. Okay? So if I enter this line, and if you are on a Mac or something like that, you obviously have to change this to put your username and your URL where this artisan is. If you save this, immediately it will start working. Okay? So on Ubuntu, on everything else, it will start working immediately. So in order to save it, I have to do that, okay? So now it's working on my Mac. But it isn't, because of course Apple had to break something, and I was trying to figure out why it doesn't work, and then people told online, do this, do that, do this, do that, and none of that shit worked. So, yeah, great joy. So it doesn't work on my Mac, but it works on my Ubuntu, okay? Now, how do I know that it works, okay? And what the hell does it do? Okay, so let me show you that, all right? So, open sites, okay? So, in my admin, okay, in app, in jobs, you have various jobs, and I have a minute job, okay? And typically this line is commented out, okay? So, if I want to see that this is working, I temporarily uncomment this one, and then I can check the logs, okay? So what I was showing here, well, this will stop working completely, this remote desktop. I can show the logs. Why the hell does it have so many of these? Close others. Storage logs, log. So basically every minute, 12:01, 12:02, 12:03, you will have this message in logs, okay? So I can see that this is executed every minute, okay? Once I see that it's running, I can close it. How does it run, okay? So as I said, inside my admin, you have this artisan thing, okay? So artisan loads Laravel application and handles, passes it, whatever we said that it wants to do, okay? What basically it actually does here, this calls this kernel file, okay? And because we type schedule run, it's going to call this function. Okay, and in this function, I created all the jobs that I want to do and set up its interval. So I made a job called minute job, which executes every minute. So the cron job, cron tab, that's what we said, calls artisan. Artisan calls this function. This function says make a new minute job every minute. So every minute it has some sort of tracking, and then every minute it's going to create one new minute job, okay? And then I will also execute it, okay? So minute job does everything what it says here, okay? But to see it working, I just uncomment this line, okay? Simple as that. Now, if I go to my computer, my admin, apps. Okay, so I have all these apps installed, but on your computer or different versions of AppSource, you might have different apps, okay? And each one of these apps might need to have something occurring regularly, either every minute or every hour or every morning at 8 o'clock, doesn't matter, okay? So how do we do this, okay? So let me show you in AI Sikha. If I edit this application, we have one little lines which says cron job, okay? So cron job is basically, we put here this thing, which is, because AI Sikha is Laravel application, so it's going to be very similar, but if it's using a different framework, it might have a different command. So I put this line of the code, and this gets executed by my minute job that I created. So this code that I just showed you goes for all the apps which are installed on your computer or on your server, and then figures out what sort of key we entered, and if it's a cron job, it executes that thing. Okay. Now, this is great if we are talking about Linux. Okay, so it's var www html AI Sikha. Okay, so that's exactly what you're going to do, and PHP schedule run. So AI Sikha jobs will run. So AI Sikha will have its own kernel, it will have its own minute job or hourly job or whatever it is defined, and it will execute that. So cron tab calls my admin checks all the apps every minute, and calls all of their jobs to be executed if there are any. For my Mac to this happen, I can't cd var www because I'm at users, AF, sites, ICH. Okay, so this is for my Mac, I have to change it, okay, but that's only because I didn't install this on a usual place. Now, the problem I have is that this minute job, the cron job is not firing, okay, on my Mac. So I am going to slightly cheat, okay? So if I do it manually, basically I just type this command that cron job should call itself, you see that this job was fired, okay? So I have to manually enter this and do it that way, okay? So for this demonstration purpose, I'm going to do it manually, but in real life on Ubuntu over there, that you saw that screen, it was just filling out the logs every minute, so it should work without any problems. So, now that I have this, I want to know if I run it again, will it work again? Boom, it's fired. So you saw this appearing a few seconds later. Okay. What happens is the following. If I go to database, my admin, I have jobs, and I have select data here, okay? So every time when I create a new job, it gets added to this table. Every time I execute the jobs, so every minute, then once it's executed, it's deleted from this table, okay? So this table will be empty all the time. Maybe sometimes you will catch one or two jobs for a second, and then if you refresh, they will be gone. So if this table is full, that is not working. Jobs are not executed. They are created, you are creating new ones, but you are not executing them, okay? Typically means that your kernel PHP, this file doesn't have this command to execute, okay? So, or there is a bug somewhere, but if it's a bug, if it's exception, if something doesn't work, all right? Then there is another table called failed jobs, okay? So every job that fails, okay, will be listed here, okay? And you can see, because I have no, but you can see that it will tell you what the exception is, so you can fix that thing and make it work. So my admin has no jobs, because it is done, all of them, none of them failed, okay, so it's working fine. Now, I want to do the same for AI SIHA, okay, so AI SIHA, I have app, I have HT console kernel, okay, and see here, right now, I have nothing, okay, so there is one job that is currently disabled, is translations job. Okay, so let's look at this translations job in jobs. Okay, so I'll do that. Translation job. Okay, so there is a log, new job fired. I will say new translation job. Okay, and I'm just going to put return here. I don't want it to do anything, okay? Just stop, and that's it, okay? So that's my job. And then if I go to my storage logs, for today I don't have any logs, great. So if this works, then I will get this message in AI SIHA log, not my admin log, okay? So kernel, I will enable this. And typically what I just need to do is wait 1 minute and then it will be triggered automatically, but since I can't, I am going to run this for my admin. So I'm triggering my admin cron job, which in terms needs to update, call this one, which in terms need to call that one, and this one will put something in the log. What can go wrong? So see, it actually did a little bit longer than this time, so that's a good sign. I got a new log file, and I just want to say that's SIHA, okay, so I got a new log file, and it says new translation job file, okay, so that's my message from here. Okay, so that's brilliant, okay. It works, I'm very happy with that. It's just I'm faking this, I'm starting it manually, but I'm happy with that. So what I want to do, okay, in this AI SIHA, I have my table conditions, okay? So let's say I have these conditions and I want to update them. All right. Now, what has been done here before in this table is this flag is done. So initially, all the conditions are listed, okay? But I don't want to do that, you know. I want to create a new job which will do something much more intelligent, okay? Because what's going to happen is every now and then the remote API is going to have an updated translation file, okay? Updated condition file. And then I need to check, has it been updated? And if it has been updated, I will fetch a new version. If it hasn't been updated, I am not going to fetch a new version. Okay? So, in order to do that, okay, I'm just going to copy this one and paste it here again, and I'm going to rename it as click rename, and this is get NHS RT job, okay? And before I press enter, I'm going to copy this, okay? So this is class that, okay? And I'm just going to leave this. This is new get NHS RT class, okay? So jobs fired. Now what I need to go is back to my kernel of AI SIHA and say that this paste and then call this specific job, which I called that. And this one I also wanted to run every minute, all right? So if I trigger my admin again, now hopefully this one will call 2 jobs, and inside of my Laravel log, I will get 2 notifications, okay? So both jobs were called, okay? So great, works. So what I want to do is I want to do the following, okay? So I think of the use cases, okay? Let's say I have no articles or I have existing articles, okay? And if I have existing, I need to maybe update, okay? Because that's the story. So what I'm going to do is use typically what we have, let's say in jobs table or many other tables. When you look at the structure, it has these it has this created that, okay? So if I look at users, structure, created that, and then updated that, okay? So these are timestamps, so every time when this new thing is updated or created, I know exactly when it happened, okay? So I'm going to use those times in order to figure out, do I need to check for the updates, okay? So if it's updated more than a month ago, then I can check for the updates, okay? And that's it. So this is a translation function, but I don't want to translate it in this one. I just want in this one to get the new articles, okay? And I can't remember where we were getting these articles from to steal the code. So, and I do have some articles, okay? So I don't need any of this stuff. Okay, the only function I need is handle, okay? So typically what in these conditions were being done. So you see this first one, okay, is it done? Yes. Is it translated? Yes, okay? So these 2 flags were used for to find how far did we get inside this table. So we were looking something like a temporary article is equals article where is done is 0, and then give me a first one. Okay, this is not correct, and I'm not going to run this code. So basically, this one is done, this one is done, this one is done, but let's say this one is not done. Okay, so I need to fetch the data. Okay, I need to fetch the new article. Okay, but what I'm going to do instead, is something different. Okay, because I want article, same thing, where not is done, but this updated at is less than I think there is a function called now. I'm not sure about this, but I've just minus 7 days, okay? And you don't type it like this, but I'm not checking or 30 days or whatever it is, okay? So something along those lines would be what I would use intelligently to see when was it last updated. So if I made the first article which was updated from now, but more than 30 days ago, okay? So if this date is before now minus 30 days, then it's quite old, it's older than a month, then it's worth fetching it from NHS. Fetch it from NHS. Okay. Now, inside the NHS data, and if I go to developer NHS, okay, accept, sign in, whatever, APIs, Health to Z APIs, fine. I did see this somewhere, not on this one, then somewhere else. What it returns is a complex, oh my God, they had to do it like this. Extremely useful, well done, NHS. Luckily they have a budget of trillions, billions. But one of the things that they put is author. And then one of the things they put is a name of article. And then one of the things they put is the update date. Okay? So I'm going to check that update date. Okay? So if the update date is before my time or exactly when it's when I called it, it means it's an old article. But if this update date is later than this, then it's a new article. Then I can say, this is the article now that I fetched, that I can update really, okay? And what I will do, so fetch the article from AS, check articles update date, and if it's older than 30 days from now, okay, before now, that's fine. What I will just do is update my articles, update date to now. Okay, because I checked this article, so I'm going to, because I last checked it more than a month ago, so now I'm going to update it to now, so I don't check it for another month. Okay, because this continuously runs and runs and runs and runs, okay? But if it's newer, then I need to process it to add it to my database. So I replace stuff in my article, Okay, so I had the old article, now they changed some things, so I can add it to my database. Okay. And that is me processing this stuff. So, but what also could happen is that they added an article which I didn't have before. Okay? But I'm not going to check every minute did they do that. That's silly. Have you got a new article? No. Maybe if I ask again in a minute, they will have 5 new articles. It's not going to happen, okay? So I'm not going to put this, that part of the code in this function handle. So for new articles, I am going to create a monthly job. Okay, I need to check this once a month. Okay, so, and in that case, I will call NHSRP with, okay, parameter that filters articles created in past month. So just give me the articles which are created in past month. But I'm not sure how this API works because it might just give me new articles, but it can also give me new and updated articles. Okay, so I can just check then, go through the list, and if it exists, update. If it does not exist, create. Okay, but that I'm going to do once every month. And then what is going to happen when 1 month passes from then all those articles and previous ones will be also checked. So it will continuously check for the articles. You know, every day, every minute, it will go and check 1 article at a time. It doesn't have to do it faster than that. Okay, but if I want to do it faster, I can do another thing. I can add a line of code. So, hey, once you finish this job, and there's no if, I'm just here in line 45, so it's here, fire a new instance of itself. So create a new instance of this job, so once it's finished, it creates a new instance. And how do I create a new instance? Well, I create a new instance by just doing what I did here, dispatch new that. So it will create that and it will execute it again and again. So if I run this thing now, I know I have syntax errors and stuff in these 2 lines. This is not going to work, but fine. So let me fire this now. Boom. Okay. So I should have 2 new logs in Laravel log here. Okay, new trans job fired, new get NHS job fired. Oh, great. If I go to my app source and say in my AI SIHA jobs, no jobs. So they are immediately processed. Failed jobs, no failed jobs. Oh my God, did this work? These 2 lines? Maybe they worked, I don't know. But as I say, it's very hard to debug this because everything is happening in the background. So the only way how I know what's going on by typing this, okay? So if I want to see this article or something like that, I need to put it in a log, but I probably need to convert it in some sort of string in order to see what it is. So if I want to do that, I will say log info var dump, something like that, maybe. I don't know. So let's fire one more time. Boom, 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 boom. So I got 2 new messages, but I didn't get this message. I didn't get this log info.
Oh, the return is there still.
Hmm?
You still have the return.
Thank you very much. That's exactly why it is working perfectly, because it never gets to this crap part of the code. So yes. So let's crash this now. Okay, so I go to Laravel log, and yeah, I got a problem. Yeah, the first problem, of course, it doesn't know what is an article because that model is not imported, so I can fix it and so on. So that's that. Let's check, is it in a database? Select data. Failed jobs, no. Jobs, select data, no. Now it's only going to appear in a failed jobs if you are not handling the errors. So I'm handling the errors and putting them in a log file. But if I wasn't doing that, then it would catch that error and put it in the failed job thing. Okay? Any questions? What is 2 greater than, in schedule run, that everything about after schedule run, this greater than, dev null and all that, is just don't give me the output. So if I don't put that thing, this will also work, but it will give me some output of what it is doing, okay? But see, I even have this in my minute queue command in terminal, don't give me the output, because the output goes to console and nobody is looking at console while these cron jobs are working, so that's what it is. That's how you divert it to nothing. So it goes nowhere, the output. Any other questions? No. So we've done lesson 12, mobile cron jobs. We've done lesson 10, mobile, and we only have other upsource technologies to cover. So I'm way through the schedule. Anyway, we'll take a 5-minute break, and then I will just go back to explain other technologies that we are using, which are not just PHP and so on. So it will be a little demonstration time. Talk to you in 5 minutes, guys. Okay, guys, shall we kick off? All right, so other upsource technologies. So what I want to show you, that's my app working, which is great. Don't care about that, don't care about that, okay? So what I want to show you is one of the upsource projects that we created. And maybe I can even find some images, first of all, which should be posted on our Alibaba website, which is work in progress, but consultancy, maybe it's here, no. It might be in energy, read more, Tjork, okay. Did they put the pictures? Yes, okay. So, this is a test setting. Okay, so we have a test house, like a not real house, okay? So you have a bedroom, and then you have a bathroom, and then you have a kitchen, and then you have another room, whatever it is, and you have these two guys installing some electricity, connecting all these things, okay? What is the idea here? Okay, the idea is here that you have thousands of houses just like this, okay? And they have their electricity, kitchens, bathrooms, whatever they have, all right? And what we wanted to do is, first of all, to measure the consumption of energy. So we are not just talking about energy for the electricity, electric energy, but we also measuring consumption of gas, and if you have solar panels, what you are producing, you know, and so on. So measuring consumption of energy, okay? But then what we wanted to figure out is the behavior of users. Because some people on this chat and so on, maybe take showers in the morning. Every morning take a shower. Okay, I hate taking showers in the morning. I love taking showers in the evening before I go to bed. Okay, so I would, you know, so we all have different habits. Okay, and if you have small children, you might run your washing machine twice a day. If you don't have small children, you might run it on the weekends. I don't know. All right, so each one of us have different habits. All right. And that means that we have different requirements of energy. So when I come home after this, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the living room. I'm not going to go to the bedroom. And in the living room, I will sit and play my computer game or something stupid like that. That's my habit, okay? So this bedroom, I don't need heating, I don't need lights, I don't need anything, okay? And I will use my bathroom, as I said, to have a shower, probably at 11 or 12 or wherever, okay? If I can be bothered, all right? Tomorrow is weekend, so I don't care. The thing is that that's my habit. So, but I have a boiler which makes hot water. It's an electric boiler in my house, but in your house can be a different boiler, all right? And this boiler is on permanently. So from midnight to midnight, it keeps water hot. Nobody's using that water. I'm not at home right now. Nobody's using that water. I just need water for one shower at midnight. Okay? So why am I wasting so much energy in my house heating that water which nobody uses throughout the day? You know, my girlfriend takes a shower, I don't know when, but you know, again, it doesn't matter. So it would be really cool if we can monitor the consumption of energy, detect the habits of the users, and then automate when we are making hot water, when we are turning on the lights, when we are, etc., etc., okay? So this is our project, okay? So what we did, we put some sensors inside this demo house, and these sensors are connected by Wi-Fi to our backend, okay? So the backend is this one here, where I can have my house, okay? And this is not my house specifically, but what we are doing here is having various sensors, okay? So the multi-sensor measures temperature, CO2, but also detects the motion. So it knows if the user is in that specific room. We have a sensor which is connected to your heat pump or boiler or whatever it is. And then we have sensors in sockets. So if this is a kitchen, they have many sockets there. This is where the TV is and so on. So we have many sockets there. And if you click on this, each of these sockets, you can see that this is a lamp, that this is the voltage which was measured, this is the wattage, this is the amperage, and it's on right now. So this socket is TV. This, so it used 0.06 amperes, okay? Now what I can figure out from this amperage is that this TV is on standby mode, okay? Probably, because it's not using a lot of amperes. Because we all leave our chargers plugged in all the sockets all the time. You know, laptop chargers, mobile chargers, TVs are standby, microwaves are standby, everything is standby, and it just uses a little bit of energy, okay? So if nobody is going to watch this TV, why can't I just switch off this thing, okay? And that's the whole idea, okay? So another socket, this is a PlayStation, so I can see it's not using any energy. This is all data, it's not connected, so this is quite nice, okay? But how did I do this? Okay, let me click Edit House, okay? So as you can see, this is Upsource, it's older version, it's an electronic theme, okay? So first of all, I can say who is the user. Julian was the AI guy who was doing AI programming here. So this is my rooms, and I can rename them in any shape or form, you know, so if I get a new, but I can also edit the floor plan, okay? So basically I can move these things graphically, you know, rename them, put different names, and I can add different sensors that we are using. So it's a socket sensor, it's a motion detector, it's air conditioner, whatever you have in your house, okay? And if I just say add air conditioner, it's here, it's in the other room number 2, and then I can say, okay, what is some settings of it, and etc., okay? So how do I do this? Oh, sorry, you can't see your screen. Yes, guys, I do apologize, I realize that right now. Okay, so, people in the room saw all the screens, you didn't. So let me just go quickly back. This is the photographs that I showed. So this is a test house. This is the bedroom, bathroom, and so on, what I talked about. And these are people who are installing these sensors that I just talked about. All right? And these sensors are connected through Wi-Fi. And then they are connected to this system, okay, where I put for each sensor that I have, I put its barcode, whatever is printed on the sensor, so I know which sensor is in which location by their barcode. So this is my diagram, and as I say, I can edit it, move it, change it, you know, whatever I want to do. All right, so this is a diagram. Now, how do I make this, you know, I can move the walls, etc., you know, well, that's my house, you know, we had a huge wind and now it looks like this. How do I do this thing programmatically, okay? So, for this we chose React, not React Native, but React. Okay, React is a JavaScript thing, so I'm doing this on the front end, so a user can add these components and play with them and do all sorts of stuff. Now, when the user clicks save, this React Native app, which is just rendered inside AppSource, calls AppSource API and say, I updated this, I added new air conditioner, I added new this, I changed the barcode of this device and so on, okay? So basically what happens is that I combine the two technologies which don't necessarily work together quite well. So the React allows people to draw and stuff like that. That's our plugin. And then once it draws that, we call the API to update the database. Now React, you have to program just like a mobile application. So you write your code in TypeScript or JavaScript or whatever your language is, and then you compile JavaScript files, and then you upload the JavaScript files, and browser gets them served, and then we have this up and running. So this is like a mobile application that we developed here. So if I go to my admin here, utilities files, and look at the files, now this thing Tyork, okay, had edit floor plan, okay, and here it has a catalog of items, and these are our items that this JavaScript is loading, the pictures and stuff like that. So this is our Wi-Fi router picture and so on. So we can do that. That's the catalog of this thing, okay? But then you have somewhere resources, I think. Yep, so floor plan editor. So here, this is, I think, my source code. And it looks pretty much what we saw like a mobile application. So it has a package JSON and so on. But I'm not pushing node modules. They are not needed because from the node modules, etc., I am going to create some sort of file. I think it was probably one of these, okay? So these are the JavaScript files which are generated, and that's what is showing this whole thing, okay? And this is the floor plan editor, and then I have a viewer which is very similar. But that doesn't end here, okay? Because I need something, okay, to store the data. So I do have a database, but I have settings. I think it's Tyork, sorry. And then I have settings here. And then I have that, okay? So this is an interesting one because it's an open source platform, completely different from AppSource, done by this Emon people, and Emon people are from Wales. So they open sourced a very intelligent way of collecting huge amount of data and storing it in not in database format, okay? And then have different graphs and feeds. So what the input is each one of these devices that I showed you is an input, okay? So each socket, which has amperage, voltage, wattage, status, and so on, is one input, okay? And then it has a feed, so it has all the information that's received over the year. So quite a lot of information because we are checking this every minute or every couple of minutes, cron jobs, okay? So I have feeds, okay? So I have feed for this barcode, these things, for this barcode, these things. And then I have graphs and visualizations, so I can basically choose whatever I want, and it will draw me various graphs, of course, if there is any data. And then I can do visualization, so I can see in a real time or Zoom or whatever, different methods, and even calculate how much energy I am using. So completely independent system. okay? But then it's again connected through the database and backend and AppSource. So if I go to utilities database, I can see here that this Tierk one, okay, has configuration, has jobs as well, but then it has all these feeds that are created automatically, okay? So each one of these feeds is created automatically, but this is just the last information, okay? So we have 817 of those feeds, okay? So I can dynamically create tables inside MySQL. We have our own graphs, we have a list of houses, list of people who live in there, multi-graphs and rooms, and then we have a thing called schedule. So AI, which is analyzing the data in this table, figures out, in theory, we haven't got that far, what's the schedule? When my boiler, from the beginning of the story, should be turned on or off, okay? So that's the schedule. So basically, each house gets its own schedule, so basically a calendar, where I can see what devices are turning on and where are they turning off. Of course, I can turn them on and off automatically by turning them on and off, okay? But I can also do it remotely through the website. So it's not just that I'm receiving the data, I have to send instructions to a specific switch and turn it on and off in this case, or adjust it, okay? Again, what we then added to this project was another layer, what was mobile app. Okay, so we did mobile app, which is connected to the whole thing, so you can see your consumption. But what we also did is a little like competition. Okay, so what we did is that we got people to turn off a certain thing to save energy. So the app would send them a push notification saying, hey, can you save some energy right now? And then Ahmed receives the invitation and then he says, okay, I'll turn off the heat pump because I don't need any heat, okay? And then we measure how long is it off, and he scores points. And then the people inside the house are competing, okay, with savings. Why is this interesting? Because if you can turn it off and live without it, that's really good to know for AI to learn what your habits are, where you are using energy which is not necessary for you. And then when you stop, because we all stopped playing these idiotic games after a month, we got tired, okay? AI can continue to create schedules which will turn off these things when they are not needed. So it learns from your positive behavior and reinforces that even if you are not actively jumping every 5 minutes, turning off the lights that you don't need, adjusting your temperature sensors and so on. So I just wanted to show you how we combined various technologies in this project. But I want to show you one more, and I will switch to the main camera because I have some stuff which I just got received. So this, some device, okay? As you can see, it has big nuts here and so on, and it has some electricity. And what this do is my garden hose, water comes here, okay, and it goes out there, okay. What this does is a switch, valve, turns it on, turns it off. But it also measures how much water goes through this, okay. So what this does is sends the information about that. It does it to this box, okay. Nothing special, okay? But what we discovered is that Wi-Fi is very strong maybe inside the house. As soon as you move 3 meters outside, your Wi-Fi drops horribly. So there is a free to use Laravel and a couple of other providers which provide free data service for devices like that. So we can update whatever this data it is anywhere in the world using LoRaWAN and similar. So this one is connected to something. It's not mobile. It's a long-range slow radio. Okay, so it sends the data. Inside of this box, okay, I have more things, and I should receive a few more. So this is a little sensor, okay, which you all probably have seen on your windows and doors. So it detects if the door is open or closed, or window is open or closed, okay? Now, what's special about this one is that this one talks to that, okay? So, and then I have another one here, and I say I should receive a few more. But this guy, I can put on top of any container, so it hangs like that, all right? And it uses ultrasound to measure how full that container is. And it doesn't matter, is it rubbish, or is it my compost, or is it water inside the container, so it measures how much I have inside the container. Again, it has a wire, so it transmits wirelessly to other device, and I get that information. Okay? So similar to TIORC, all right? This sends the data. Where the hell does it send the data? This time I'll remember to switch the screen. Sorry guys about that one more time. So it sends it to a project called Animus, okay? And Animus is quite similar, but it's for agriculture, okay? So what we are doing is, we are measuring all the data that comes from all of these sensors anywhere in the world, okay? Again, I have to be able to register the sensors, know which one has this barcode or that barcode, and be able to distinguish them. So this is the management tool, first of all, farm management tool. But we are not just connected to sensors, okay? So we have farms, and if I click View Farms, okay, this farm has 2 fields. And this is where that farm is geographically, okay? So I'm connected to the Google Maps. But I'm also connected to the weather data, okay? And this weather data is for this location. This is Wessel in Germany, where these guys who are sending us these devices are from, okay? So I can see right now it's 17 degrees, and it's it's vibes and pleasant, and it's not a lot of wind and so on. But if I click play here, I can see what is going to happen over the hours. Okay, so this is a weather forecast, and I have the whole history for 12 years or something like that. So for each farm, I can get ridiculous amounts of data, because if you look at here, I don't just have wind, but I have rain, temperature, clouds, CO2 pressure, snow, precipitation, humidity, how much plastic it has, how many fog it has, are there waves, is it tide at the time, you know, CO2, carbon dioxide, monoxide, how is the ozone layer and so on, okay? So I get impossible amount of data about the weather on this specific farm. But if I then go to one field, okay, this is the field that we are talking about, okay? So this is the field, which in this case, I had to edit this, okay? So I had to draw this field so you know this is my field. It's not this field, I don't care about that one, that one, that one, I care about this one. So I had to use some sort of map, okay? And then I had to draw on that map and understand what are the locations of this map. So in this case, we use this map box, which is quite nice. So it allows me to do that. So it's some sort of, again, React or Java or who knows what technology. And this is even more interesting, okay? because not just that I get the map of where exactly this farm is, because when I know the map, I get the satellite pictures, photographs of this space. Okay? So just like this satellite picture is taken in Google Maps once, 10 years ago or whatever not, these are basically taken every day, okay, or even faster than that because satellites go quite fast, all right? So I can see that on 23rd of May 2022, so what, 4 days ago at 8:54, this was the picture taken. It wasn't this picture. The picture looks like that, okay? Just to let you know. But these satellites are equipped with different types of camera, infrared and all the other crap, okay? So we are using one of those special pictures, and we are using AI here to analyze the picture, okay? And it analyzes the picture and calculates how much green stuff is growing on this farm, okay? Concentration of green stuff. So as you can see on this date, this dark green means that most of this farm here was doing quite well. So, however, this corner is slightly oh, I have this mouse over, I hate it. So this corner here is a little bit less dark, which means there is less biomass there. The plants are shorter, smaller, sparser. And in this corner, it means they are even worse, okay? There are even less plants over there. Each one of these little lines is around 10 meters, so I can understand this is 10 meters, 20, 40, 50, something like that. So I understand where exactly on my farm, without going to the farm, without looking at the plants, where the plants are not doing well. Now what we have done also is put some of these sensors, but different ones, which measure stuff like humidity inside the soil. Okay, so they might not be doing very well because of the soil is on that part is different or less wet and so on. So we can actually calculate how much water that specific part needs to be added. And we know is it going to rain, because I just showed you, okay, and how much is it going to rain. And we know how much historically it rains during these months, okay? So with very high accuracy, we can actually calculate where does the farmer need to put water in order to fix this so it's all beautiful and green, so his yield increases, so this line doesn't get damaged and you can't use it because nothing grows there. He understands that. But this thing is called NDVI because this green stuff is directly proportional to quantities of nitrogen or fertilizers that you put on the farm. So basically what it means is this either it doesn't have enough water or it doesn't have enough fertilizers. Okay? So the farmer knows, oh my God, I just need to put fertilizers here. How does it know? Well, you can analyze these technical, complex details, of course, and figure it out. It is PhD in whatever we are doing. Or we can give a farmer a mobile app, okay? And in that mobile app, we send the farmer notifications. And we send it in a very plain language. You need to add 2 kilos of nitrogen per square meter on top part of your farm, okay? In that top left corner, you have a problem. Your farm is too dry, you need to water it, okay? Or don't water it today, it's fine, it's dry, it's, you know, you think you need to water it because it's dry, but it's going to rain tomorrow and it will be fine. Because if I add a lot of water tonight in my garden and it rains then that water is not going to drain, it's going to stay on the surface as puddles, and then air can come in, and then it suffocates some plants. Some plants are fine, they can survive, some are not. And then you lose crops. So as you can see, with this combination of sensors, technology, satellites, artificial intelligence scripts and so on, what we actually are trying to achieve here is make a huge savings. Okay, we are saving time, which means money, labor. Okay, you don't need to go and water the whole thing because you just water where it's needed. Okay, we are saving resources such as water and nitrogen and so on. And then we are increasing your yields, which means increasing the profits. So making the farms much more sustainable. They don't need to put quite a lot of things. And now we are adding a new sensors, so we are adding stuff like mouse traps detection, so if you have pests and you know, and so on. If I look at this MyAdmin utilities file, same thing, okay? So here I have MyAdmin as typical, and Animus, this is this app which I just showed you. And then we have this Animus AI, which basically is our Python code, which again gets executed through the cron jobs every few hours or wherever we need it. And then it gets these heat maps, pictures, and then calculates different things. So that's one of the images that it took. So it's a heat map, and then from the heat map it converts it into NDVI thing, and then you know calculates stuff. And when it calculates stuff, it sticks it in our database. Okay, so Animus database. I have sensor data, weather data, and other data, you know, that I'm collecting for the farms and fields. So puts it in there. From there, we can send push notifications whenever it's needed, or there is a warning or stuff like that. So if I look at my jobs, shouldn't have any failed jobs, nothing. So it's all working. So all the notifications, everything is gone out. Nothing is outstanding. Sensor data, I can see, as I said, now it's not working, but I need to put these again. Weather data, I think it's collecting all the time, so as you can see, quite a lot of data. So that's how we are combining completely, again, different technologies into intelligent solutions, okay? And I have one more to show you. Any questions so far?
This cron job is Laravel thing?
No.
Not?
Cron job is Linux, Ubuntu, they all have cron jobs. Mac had cron jobs, but they broke it somehow now. So it's just any computer have a, you know, your phone has a cron job. You can put an alarm, wake me up at 7 o'clock every morning. That's a cron job.
No, I mean for Kotlin, like this is in Python, we can also add cron jobs.
Oh yeah, you can add cron jobs anywhere. So you can execute your Python scripts every 10 minutes, you know, or every hour or whatever you want. Okay? Any other questions? Okay. So what I wanted to show you, the last thing is, well, this has no sensors yet, okay? So this is our metaverse. And what we are combining here, obviously this is a standard app source, etc., etc. So if I go to login, I get that screen, I can log in and see everything what's going on in the back. That's the placeholder image. But what is interesting here is that we have a shop, so you can purchase various products. But you can buy and sell NFTs, okay? And if I go here, all right? These are NFTs, okay? And for you who don't know what NFTs are, what can I tell you? You know about cryptocurrency. Now we have digital assets, and these digital assets are non-fungible tokens, so they are registered on blockchain network. And what is registered about them is what the asset is, exactly what it is, and then who owns it, okay? And you can sell, trade, speculate with them, do whatever you want, okay? So as you can see, we put some test graphics and some, you know, so this Roy Hitoshi, whoever he is, so he put some stuff there, okay? And with my digital wallet, okay, where my bitcoins are, I can bid and buy these digital assets, okay? So in this case, as you can see, AppSource is connected to blockchain technologies and so on. But it's not just connected to the blockchain technology, because I want to show you a few things, okay? So if I log in here, okay, we have a thing called My Venue, okay? And My Venue is a restaurant management system, okay? But it's not just for restaurants. You can manage any venue that you have, any bar, pub, club, disco, whatever you have, okay? So we have multiple venues, okay? And each one can log in here and see their own address and how they look like, but then they can also create their own drink menus and events. If they have a concert or something like that, they can create an event and they can sell it on this platform. What happens is we have 3 mobile applications. So there is a mobile application for customers who can come to the venue and then order drinks or food or whatever they have from their phone, okay? However, what we are doing, because we are connecting all these Bitcoin and the other wallets and your wallet, okay? You don't have to scan and pay and do barcodes. You get our currency here, okay? So as you say, give me 3 beers, you don't have to scan anything and enter barcode or tap. You don't even have to be at the bar. You can be 2 kilometers from the bar, or you can be in a different country. You can still order your drinks. As soon as you order your drinks, boom, 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 we have a bar and a kitchen app. So if you order food, it's going to go to kitchen, so they have to prepare food, so they know immediately what, like in McDonald's, you know, they get notifications, okay? And barman gets the drinks. You come with your phone whenever it's ready, so they say it's ready, so it tells you it's ready. You come to the bar, you don't have to queue. You know, when you go on festivals, I want to buy a drink, and it's like ridiculous queues and nothing like that. You just come and collect your stuff when it's ready. We can push notifications like special offers. Hey, do you want to have another, whatever you ordered before? You know, after 10 minutes. Oh, now we have a special offer, happy hour of beers. Do you want to buy 3 beers for €5? Just click yes or no, and we placed the order. So what we want to do with this Android apps and so on, we actually want to put it on your smartwatch, so you don't even have to take the phone out, so you just say, yep, fine, and so on. But we don't want to end up there, okay? Because this is a metaverse. So what we are connecting to this whole system is a thing called Blender Worlds, which is our and if I manage to run it, I don't know. This is a Unity application, okay? So the Unity application, and we can have, if you guys interested, I can show you this as one of the lessons in the future. So Unity, like Unreal, is a gaming engine which creates 3D worlds. Okay, so we are creating a virtual world where people from wherever they are can have their digital assets and then stream inside this world. So what we want to do in this digital world, like this one that you see on the screen right now, for example, is that a DJ in a big venue, which takes, I don't know, 500 people, has a concert, okay? But they are hooked up. So you can go and see that concert digitally in a 3D world using VR glasses or on your phone or on your desktop. And you can participate in that event. And you have to pay the ticket to enter that building, but then you have this VR kind of experience of concert just like you are there, okay? And you can chat and talk to your friends who are at the venue actually, because they have our phone app which is connected, so you can buy a round of drinks for them if you want to, I don't know, you got Corona, you can't go, they're all there, so you can see your friends, you can enjoy being part of that concert, etc., etc., because you are inside the virtual world. So this is an MVP, and as such, we don't have too much unique things, but what I want to show you quickly, if I can, if it works, the scenes, yeah, I need scenes and I need main scene, no, login scene. Menu, sorry. Okay, so if I just click play here, so what's going to happen is that you can see me dancing, so I can upload custom avatars, but this custom avatar can be an NFT. So I can create crazy avatars that represent you and sell it to you, and then you can use it inside of this world, so you have a special, unique avatars, okay? So we are building a completely new meta kind of economy where people can actually make real money by creating content and so on. So I go in and I see this is my Bitcoins that I have. Let me play maximize so I get the full experience. I'll just stop here and play again. If it doesn't crash, it keeps crashing. This Mac M1 is horrible with that. Okay, so it logs me in automatically. You just saw, maybe you noticed that it logs me in, but where does it log me in? Well, it actually talks to that server, to AppSource, so it logs me in with the same username and password that I have for my AppSource profile. It's the same username and password that I use for those mobile applications. It's the same username and password, so it's one thing that I can go from one to another of these worlds and different things, so I'm mixing the reality of what we are doing in the real and digital world. So if I start a game, this is going to take a little while because its editor is not optimized at the moment. So now I'm entering the world, okay, and with this world I am connected to everybody else who is inside this world right now. I don't expect anyone, but maybe Julia is working on it still, or Thomas, I don't know. They might be here, so I might see them, okay? But what it's also doing is recording my voice and playing the sound from them, so I can talk to these people directly. And if you have your mobile application and you are in the venue, I can talk to you. You can be in the venue and I can see you here and so on. So what I can do is go around, and when I here, for example, is my gallery. Okay, so this is the art gallery, which if I go inside, I can see this is actually original art by some artist, and if I like this, I can click on it and it will take me to the NFT site, so I can purchase this sort of stuff. Right now, we are simulating very quickly day and night changes, and sometimes it looks good, sometimes it looks bad, you know, but what you can also see is my wallet. So this is my money, this is how much I have, so I can top it up anytime. My profile, we were asked to put a friends list and chat list and so on. But there are cool stuff that I can really do, like teleport to completely different worlds, play with the sharks if I want to, and you know, it's crazily interesting. There's somewhere a helicopter that I can ride, you know, and so on. But when you look at all this stuff, you know, scripts, okay, AppSource network, okay. Oh, sounds familiar. Debug log, logging with username, password, string is this, token is that. And then I'm making a web request, get this URL, and then I have error, or I receive the data. This is the same thing we are doing in all the other, it doesn't matter, is it Ajax, JavaScript, PHP, always the same stuff. So with the knowledge that we are taking, you can take this to ridiculous levels. So in order to demonstrate the ridiculous levels, I am creating a different one. So let me close this one. And this one is probably not going to work at all. So again, back to AppSource. So this is a Meta world server, which supports any type of Meta world. Well, it looks very familiar, doesn't it? You wouldn't say this is a Meta server at all. So what I wanted to do is, if this Unity doesn't crash, which it will, what I wanted to do is have everything. What does it mean, have everything? So I can chat to people, I can add to friends, I can ban them from being friends, I can log in, I can talk to them, I can have skills that I can learn and trade, and I can have a recipe, so I can build the objects, so I can have inventories, I can purchase stuff, trade stuff, make auctions. I can have quests, I can create quests for other people to do tasks for me in this virtual world or real world. I want to have animals going around so I can pet them or kill them or whatever I want to do. And I want to have these multiple worlds connected, so I jump from one to another, from olden to very futuristic and so on. You know, so in order to get all of that up and running, okay, I have this Unity, of course, which is a front end. So you experience the thing, but what is interesting to me is this backend, okay? So if I go to, this is, as I say, work in progress, so I'm playing with this when I get a little bit of time. I have, let's say, admin database, okay? And I have 4 databases like this, but this one will show you a little bit of what we are talking about. So you have your account, your character, your purchases, what are your achievements, if you have an auction, so you trade services and items and so on, and your emails and friends and purchases and chats and claims. So just like in not Fortnite, but that idiotic other one, you can build stuff. I have a whole building mechanisms here, so I can build houses, buy land, sell land, and so on. Guilds, if I want to join people together in some sort of things, and then etc., many different things. So what I'm working on here now, just to let you see this quickly, because we have 4 minutes, okay? So I wanted to have a really nice scene as a login scene, okay? So I have this camera panning and I have this kind of Japanese garden which looks like that. So I can log in and guess where it logged you in the Upsource server, okay? So then I have my characters, which sometimes here appear, sometimes they don't. So it didn't appear this time for whatever reason. This is my Mac version. On a PC I have it, okay? So this is an older version. So I can create various characters where I can now adjust everything, you know. So you put your makeup here, you know, all this sort of stuff. So I'm playing with that to make this really lovely. Because what it says here, human and warrior, I don't like this. So so let's see, is this going to work? Because this is, somebody built this, you know, I'm utilizing the tools. I don't have it on this computer. Doesn't matter. So basically I'm customizing all this, you know, because this is obviously for some 3D medieval knights fighting ogres and stuff like that. But you know, that's not the way I want to do it. So I'm creating completely different ideas of characters and stories and so on for fun. Okay, but also clients want it, and I think it's quite cool. So what you have seen that with the same code, what you are learning in this thing, you can actually achieve hundreds of different things. You know, if you are into saving the environment with all these sensors and stuff like that, you know, which we can do, saving energy, helping people make extra money with the tasks in Cold Town and other, so you know, prevent epilepsy attacks, you know, almost, but detect, not prevent, but you know, all is done with the same logic. Okay, it's all the same. Okay, so the programming before, this is what I told you, you had an empty piece of screen and you had to type everything. Now we have so many components which we can just put them together and create amazing products, amazing ideas, if we think in a certain way. Because when you see this in a hardware store, you don't think this is cloud, this is AI, this is anything, you know. Don't think that. You know, who needs this? I don't know what the hell this is, you know. But it can be connected to these guys here. How? I don't know. How do I program? How do I solve? Always the same thing. We apply the principles, make it clear in the terms of comments and how you name your variables and all that sort of stuff, you know. Understand what the problem is, what you are trying to achieve. You have to understand. You can't program if you don't understand. Break down your task into what I just did half an hour ago. First I will do that, then I will do that, then I will do that. Okay? And then you try, step by step, slowly, my first thing is, let me just get one article. Once I get one article, let me do something with it. Once I do something with it, let me figure out how to do a next one. So we keep adding to the thing, all right? Yeah, can we have Unity lesson? Unity very interesting, this would be awesome. Decentralized. Decentraland. Jesus, it's nothing like Decentraland. I don't want to copy them at all here, okay? And I'm trying to convince the people that what they are doing, we want to do differently here. I don't, because there are 300 metaverses on like Decentraland out there, and there are more being developed. And I said, no. Think about it. Think about Web3. What the hell is the idea to be decentralized and so on? But how is it going to work? And don't want to spoil all the things yet, but of course, you have to be innovative. Being innovative doesn't cost us anything, which is very funny. If I want to copy Decentraland, I have to solve all the problems they solved, so I'm still solving the problems. If I'm creating something which is not Decentraland, I also have to solve the problems. So for me, same job. The only problem is I made a copy of something, or I make something innovative, okay? So this is why I try to focus on the innovation, okay? How we can do stuff differently, okay? And when you look at these Meta, famous company called Meta, which is formerly known as Facebook, they want to invest into these words, and they look like cartoon characters, cut off in half. Okay, so you only have the top half of your character. And Microsoft has a Meta world already, okay? And I played with it. So I'll go to the metaverse of Microsoft called Alt something, I don't know. And I don't know, was it because this was around Easter time, okay? But one of the places where I went was a cinema, okay? And there were two people in the cinema watching the movie about Jesus from 1940s. I was like, that's not very attractive, to go to this technology to watch movies from 1940s about Jesus. But then you go to another location, and the other location had a praying thing. So what you do in virtual world, you put your controllers, I guess, together like that, so you can see your hands through virtual glasses, or if you're on a computer, you can see that. And you are praying to I don't know, Bill Gates, for what, And that's it. And then I went to another one, which was one of those mega churches, because I was on our crusade. And you had three people inside, and this guy, American mega church, streaming. So they are thinking of they are thinking all right, but the content that's created, that they are delivering, is horrible. I understand that America, which is their primary market, is highly Christianized country, and I guess their investors want to see all this type of content. But that's not a metaverse that I want to spend time in. And if I think of young generations, because I haven't got a clue, I'm too old, I don't think they want to watch Jesus movies and pray and listen to the guy going on about abortion bans and whatever not, I don't know. I think people want to escape reality, but not to be far from reality. I think you want to enjoy and relax and listen to music and talk to your friends and do stuff that you can't do maybe in the real world because of coronas or lack of money or something like that. So that's what the world should do. So yeah, don't exactly copy all the stuff. Anyway, it's 18:04, so I spent 2 hours. So just to round up, the lesson number 9 was about external sources. We managed to connect partially to Google FCM. The other time we connected to NHS and a few others. So we show you how you connect to external and internal APIs. Lesson number 10 was about mobile applications. We covered mobile development, quite extensively. I think the main issues and how you deal with them. Okay, it's not easy. There's no solution which makes your life, boom, it works. But we have the idea of the practices that we want to implement, to make our life easier. I showed you a little bit about cron jobs, but cron jobs are quite simple. Once you put that thing, that line in your browser, in your cron tab -e, and you get the path right, it will just work. And then you can do different type of stuff, like what we showed you in examples of articles. And then I just gave you a little work demonstration of the different things where we are using really completely and utterly different technologies. Okay, so from hardware sensors, from this LoRaWAN network, from satellites, from React applications, from measuring electricity to the blockchain and NFT, what we are doing, and then 3D stuff, Unity, and so on. But everything is always connected with the same thing. It's connected to the cloud, it's connected to the data. Data is gold. Understanding the data and gathering the data, that is the most important thing. And this data, if you are intelligent enough with data science and AI, you can create 2 things, very evil things or very good things, so your choice. I'll leave you with that, guys. Thank you very much, and have fun. Bye-bye.
You pay for the satellite data.
Nope.
How come it's free?
It's free.
From Google?
EU has its own satellites called Galileo or something like that, I don't know. See you.